Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early line for a Wednesday hump day. It's how we do business, which way to invest your funds here. We'll take a look at the WNBA, Major League Baseball, NBA action, hockey action, whatever's on deck. We got it, and you got what you need here. It's Donnie Rightside, and it's Joe Ranieri. Away we go, Joe. Next half hour, it's ours.
Listen, we're getting to crunch time. Like we said, we've got some championship, half of it filled out. We know in the NHL, Vegas is awaiting to see who they're going to play for a Stanley Cup. We know the Knicks are waiting to see who they're going to play for an NBA Finals championship. So there are some markets where now might be the time to look into and see if we can't find some value.
How about these new markets and finding value, Joe, and a meaning behind if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. Here's from In-Game. DraftKings appears set to launch its in-house prediction market exchange, as the exchange has self-certified its first contracts, which could go live Wednesday, while also debuting new branding for its in-house exchange. Oh, no, prediction markets are bad. DraftKings like, oh, no, they might be good.
No, again, great example of if you can't beat them, join them. Donnie.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing here. And it makes sense. I don't know what took them so long. They thought they were somehow going to beat them to the no. They now you're going to get in it, and now usually you got to be in it first, right? You got to be in it first, Donnie, to have success. We know Kalshi and Polymarket have been in it first, so we'll see if it translates to success with the sports books.
How about success on the ice tonight? And boy, those Carolina Hurricanes can drive that spike right into the Canadiens' hearts. They're taking a 3-1 series lead if they win tonight. But if Montreal can level up, that means, Joe, we'll get a best of three home ice advantage towards the Carolina Hurricanes. Taking a look here, the Hurricanes are listed as the favorites to win this game on the Kalshi Marketplace at a 58% chance. That yes contract is 59 cents. So a $100 investment will pay back $170 on the Carolina Hurricanes if they win. Could this be Montreal's last stand, Joe?
Yeah, well, if Montreal, the way they've been playing, Donnie, they'd much rather this game be on the road, given the fact that I think they have lost now 3 in a row at home. I think they have lost 7 games at home during the playoffs, which is just absolutely crazy given how, those fans in that building. It should be one of the best home ices in all of the NHL. And yet Montreal 5-0 on the road, 10-1 on the road overall in the playoffs. It's just, unfortunately, they're going to have to win one here tonight on their own home ice. And they have not lost back-to-back games, by the way, Donnie, since mid-March. So they've lost, that's the last time, in fact, that they've had any sort of losing streak. I think they bounce back. I think this goes back to Carolina tied. I think there are some markets here that involve Montreal, not only in the series, but maybe also in the NHL Finals that we need to take a look at because nobody is giving them a shot. I think they got a puncher's chance.
Puncher's chance, and also the mentions market always ends up here and having a little bit of fun. Glass trading at 93%. Overtime word spoken, 90%. How about what a save, Joe, at 59%? And by the way, I get a kick out of these ones here. Short side and slap shot, both at 38% here as a chance. Buzzer, and I don't know why they would say shootout unless it's like a 7-6 game, because as we know in the playoffs, Joe, they don't even go to a shootout here. So different ways you can enter the equation. If you don't want to take, let's just say, the over in this game and or a side, you can hit those mentioned markets here. The Philadelphia Phillies and the San Diego Padres going to play a game today, 4:10 Eastern, which means 1:10 out there on the West Coast. The Phillies with Sanchez, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, going up against Walker Buehler. The Phillies currently a 59% chance to win this Major League Baseball game. A $100 investment will pay back $167 on a yes 60-cent contract for the Phillies to get their third straight victory over the San Diego Padres.
You know what, Donnie? Sanchez, he's not giving up hits, much less runs. So he has been just on another level. It's why he's the favorite right now in the Cy Young market, and I agree with it. But the Padres, do we really trust them, this lineup here? I mean, Tatis, you talked about Machado this week being a hot mess. I can't trust this lineup. I do trust Sanchez. And I think team totals under for the Padres might not be a bad look here, especially, Donnie, early on in the first five.
By the way, Trey Turner, Philadelphia Phillies, usually a leadoff hitter, bumped out of the leadoff spot, was 0 of 18.
Mm.
Actually had a home run last night in Petco, Joe. If you feel he can stay hot today against Walker Buehler, a $100 investment on another Trey Turner home
Oof.
run, that pays back $1,000. Something to keep an eye on today. Astros and the Rangers, the Battle of Texas here. Two teams not looking great on the season, but nobody's running away with this division as the Athletics have the lead at 2 games under 500. Well, today, Texas is the favorite with DeGrom on the mound, Joe. 59% chance to win this game, a 60-cent contract, which means a $100 investment here on the Texas Rangers. If you win that, that pays back $167.
Yeah, what a difference a day makes, Donnie, right? Texas gets a no-hit the night before on 3 pitchers. Yeah, then they open up the game with 8 runs in the first inning to really kind of handle business there last night. Now they got DeGrom on the mound, and Burrows is, listen, he's a mid to back end rotation arm. He's not going to overwhelm any of these hitters on the Rangers. I think the Rangers finally busted out. I think the Rangers with DeGrom on the mound have an edge, and I think the Rangers certainly have the better bullpen. To me, I think it's all about the Rangers in this game.
Taking a Ranger player at the plate here, Brandon Nimmo, $100 investment, pays back $625 if he goes yard in this game today between the Astros and the Rangers. Let's flip it over to the WNBA tonight. The Mercury and the Liberty from Brooklyn, 7 p.m. start. New York, a heavy favorite over Phoenix, 66% chance to win this basketball game, which means a $100 investment would pay back $150 on the 67-cent contract here. Mercury, Liberty tonight from New York City.
Yeah, it's not been good. A good start for the Liberty here, and Breanna Stewart is telling everyone to calm down, have some patience. Well, they've lost 3 games in a row at the Barclays Center. They have not lost 3 games in a row at home since 2022. This could be a 4th here, but I don't trust the Phoenix Mercury to get it done. I think the Liberty are the side. I think they are, Donnie, this big a favorite for a reason. I also think points are coming here. I would take a little shot on the over as well.
I'll tell you what's interesting, too, because you take a look at the Kalshi marketplace, and they list those percentages, like 9% chance, 50% chance, whatever it might be. How about Breanna Stewart to get 20-plus points in this game? That's listed at a 9% chance. But the yes contract, Joe, listed at 50 cents here. A $100 investment only pays back $200 on something they figure might happen 9% tonight. An interesting one to sort of keep an eye on here. Tempo and the Sky, 8 p.m. tonight from Chicago. The Tempo, playing in their first season in the WNBA. They are heavy dogs tonight. So if you feel, Joe, they can go on the road and win outright against the Chicago Sky, a $100 investment would pay you back $286. But if you feel Chicago is the favorite, will win this game, a $100 investment pays back $152. Tempo Sky tonight from Chicago.
Yeah, both teams on a couple of game losing streak here, Donnie, and Chicago has just not shot the ball well at all. 23 of 73 in their last game against Minnesota. They went 6 of 29 for 3. You're not going to beat anybody with that kind of lack of efficiency offensively here. The Tempo have scored, Donnie. They're coming off a loss, 99-80 against the Portland Fire. Needless to say, both these teams are going to want to run up and down. There will be enough opportunities and shots that the over here, even for as bad as the Chicago Sky have been offensively, I still like the over in this game.
Skylar Diggins, if you feel that she can get 15-plus points tonight here, a 52% chance, it says on Kalshi, 55-cent contract, which means a $100 investment will pay back $182 if Skylar Diggins gets 15-plus points in that game tonight. The hot topics, they continue to roll on. It's Prediction Market's Edge right here on the early line. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line news and notes here on the PGA Tour. How about this from Underdog Golf? PGA Tour schedule changes, Joe, for next year in 2027. The Cadillac Championship will take place the week before the Players. The Arnold Palmer Invitational will be the week after, will be the week after the Players, yes. And the Valspar Championship is being moved to May. How about that, Joe? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Not
no,
too
I
happy
mean,
with it.
listen, they're trying to move some things around here to try and give these guys a better opportunity. Really, to me, Donnie, about getting ready for the majors. So some of these tournaments coincide with what part of the country they're actually going to be on during that time frame. So yeah, and some of the changes make a lot of sense. I don't know about fans that usually go to
Yeah.
these events, though. Now all of a sudden having the calendar change.
We're worried about the PGA Tour when other players are worried about their league folding, possibly. Here's Bryson DeChambeau. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. We were surprised that they pulled out as quickly as they did. We didn't really see that coming, but that's okay. You know, when one door closes, another opens. So I think that's the way a lot of us are looking at it. I think we all have optimism that there is a business plan that makes sense for team golf. I'd quite honestly, actually, how do I say it? I'm very optimistic with the business plan of team golf compared to other models, in my opinion. But again, other models have worked as well, so I'm not going to say that one's better than the other, but I do see value in what team golf can provide, not only worldwide, but also in grassrooting. The game of golf, national support, team national support, city local support. If we grassroot ourselves there, so there's a couple ideas that we have, quite a few ideas that we have that could be interesting, and we'll see if investors like it or not. You know, I'm giving all I can to make it happen, and if it doesn't, it doesn't happen.
Team golf, Joe. We like it for the Ryder Cup. Nation versus nation. Team golf on a regular event stinks. Nobody pays attention. Nobody cares. Has anybody ever come out to Joe? The Aces on the Live Golf Tour, so much fun to watch. I root for that team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I would say this, they just didn't do a very good job of marketing it or getting
No.
people interested in what was going on. But I'll say this, I know the PGA Tour has said that they are going to make a big move to try and make match play more relevant, especially for the FedEx Cup, right? For the Tour Championship. I don't know why they didn't do more of that with Live Golf, Donnie. Mano kind of situation.
Right.
I think that would have been huge for Live Golf to bring that back, because the PGA Tour they just don't do enough of that unless it's the Ryder Cup.
Yep, stars going head-to-head in match plays. Fantastic theater.
Yep.
Maybe that works here. But let's head to Joe, Fort Worth, Texas, for the Charles Schwab Challenge. Who might be that winner? The favorite, Ludwig Oberg, 9.1%. Hensley, Thomas, Fowler, Griffin spawn behind him. But Ludwig is the favorite here this week.
Yeah, and listen, he played very well, and he's been playing well. It's a matter of him being able to break through. I think also Ricky Fowler is another guy that you need to keep an eye on, because he has also played extremely well here, especially at this golf course. So, yeah, I could see one of those guys kind of breaking through here. I mean, Aberg's he's the favorite here, Donnie, at a pretty decent price. But I think Ricky Fowler, kind of mid-tier here. He's got, top 10 finishes now in 4 or 5 tournaments this season. I like him, man. I think Ricky Fowler, this could be the tournament he breaks through.
U.S. Open winner, the next major on the docket here, Joe. You take a look at Scotty Scheffler. Of course it is at 16%. Hasn't won a major this year. And I told you before the major season started, I'm fading Scotty Scheffler. So, of course, I'm not going to pick him to win the U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Cam Young, Ludwig Oberg, Bryson DeChambeau, all in line there. But Scotty has got 2 more chances to break through in the major market. I'm going to stick with my fade here.
No reason to change it now, right, Donnie? I mean, it's this year is at what? Shinnecock, is that where it is? Which is absolutely impossible golf course. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would expect that. Yeah, 2 under par wins the U.S. Open this year, much like what we got in a rainstorm last year. I can tell you this: J.J. Spawn ain't repeating. That is not going to happen here. I'm kind of leaning that maybe, just maybe, Rory has a really good showing again, Donnie, because you can't bet DeChambeau. Absolutely not.
Everything we hear about the World Cup here is just a money grab for all sides, and the fans are the ones that lose out. How about this rumor? FIFA's exploring rescinding Fox's 2026 World Cup rights. Fox is paying $485 million for the World Cup. The rights were granted to them in 2015 without a bidding process. Experts say on the open market it could go for over $1 billion. How is this possible?
Well, because it's possible because FIFA, you agreed to it because you probably needed the money at the time, and Fox got a deal, and now all of a sudden you're like, I don't understand. Wait, let's get a. Were you going to rescind it? That's just terrible business. But everything else they do is as corrupt as it comes, Donnie. So would not surprise me. But you agreed to it. Now you got to deal with it here. And if I'm Fox, the lawyers are on speed dial.
If you got an email, Joe, it certainly wasn't a good one here. Let's roll the video here.
That is.
Ooh.
And that doesn't mean that we don't care about because we care a lot, we don't want to say nothing to confuse the player. Because if, like when I was sacked, no, in different clubs, no, one was in Tottenham, no, and Daniel, the president say, I want to talk with you. What do you want to talk about me? If you sack me, you talk before to sack me. No, after. When you made the decision, I have nothing to say. I don't want to hear nothing. If I understand the player, they didn't make the roster, they don't want to hear me to say, oh, apologize, oh, whatever. I care. Do you know why I care? Because during 2 weeks I didn't sleep. And today, still I cannot enjoy the 26 guys that are in front of me because I am thinking in players that are out. That is about to care. It's not to call. Because if I call, it's about myself. I say, oh, I call. I am very human about calling and then giving explanation. Come on, that is.
Be a man, Joe. Pick up the phone and fire that guy. Not by email.
Just didn't use the suck term correctly. Just, it was not, none of it was good.
By the way, is Balogun going to be the best player in this World Cup? Find out, people. We'll be right back. Talking some soccer coming up, World Cup action, and also if Team USA can advance out of their group. Their group is D, Joe. USA, Turkey, Paraguay, and Australia. Do you know who's the favorite here at a 41% chance to advance out of their group and win it? Team USA, Joe. Do you believe that we can win?
Yes, you can. I mean, the prices tell you can, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
I mean, I think home field matters. I think the draw is favorable. The path for them to actually win this group is there, but yeah, I mean, the market though is probably going to go over the top here as we get a little bit closer on Team USA. And I don't know, are we sleeping on Turkey? I know a couple of guys that are big on the upset happening there as well.
How about a little Paraguay action, Joe? 17%. Yes, contract, $100 investment, pays back $589. But of course, we're going to root on Team USA, and we are not too far away from the World Cup. Now, as you know, during the early line, we like to fade the public. During this episode of PME, we like to fade the market. Let's go. Nobody wanted to speak on Charles Schwab here, Joe, and have any of the conversation move forward. The NFL season win totals got some votes, but oil prices leads the way. Why? Pain at the pump. But I got to tell you, yesterday, oil futures did drop over the holiday weekend. We had one station go to $3.99. You would have thought they were giving away pizza over there, Joe.
Yeah, no kidding. In some parts, it's less than in other parts, Donnie. There are a couple of places now where it's, we're still at the $6 mark or better, which is kind of crazy.
Woo. The average nationally gas prices for this month above $4.30, an 86% chance that happens because it is happening across the country now. 435's down to 50%. 440, Joe, is 24%. All we need to see, Joe, is pick up the pens, sign the treaty, open up the strait, prices get better, but we're still dilly-dallying around right now, Joe, and that's why the prices are so high right now heading into the summer.
Yeah, I mean, what we have? We had Memorial Day demand, some travel there. We've seen crude spike, still worried about the Strait of Hormuz, refinery issues. Yeah, I mean, you name it here. And we're talking about, I believe, the national average in February, Donnie, was 296. And now you just mentioned it, 450, 455. But I'll say this, the last 72 hours, we have seen the prices get pulled back. We keep hearing about some sort of deal. And boy, oh boy, if that's the case, I would look to the under here in some of these markets.
Checking my handy dandy oil futures right now. So hopefully they continue to go lower and lower and those prices get. But by the way, like gas prices knocked out Spirit Airlines, Joe. So people are struggling out there with the gas prices. And if you don't say, like, well, it's gas, it should be easier. Trust me, if you've ever owned a business, particularly in the food industry, you know what happens when gas prices go up, Joe? You get your food delivery. It's like, okay, I paid this much for roast beef, this much for turkey, this much for. What's this charge on the bottom? A fuel surcharge. It hits everybody because you know why? It just gets passed on down the line right there, so somebody has to pay. And the one thing we always love about the gas prices market, Joe, including like this week's market price, 47% chance that it's above $4.34 is, that futures market, Joe, when it goes higher, every day they pound you in the jaw with that price going way up. Oh, futures are coming down. Let's slowly bring those prices down. That ain't fair. We get hit both ways, Joe.
Yeah, and don't forget, the market always moves faster than the prices at the pump, Donnie. So it's not instantaneous here. And if we're looking at some of these prices here just by the end of the week, I don't know. That to me, I think the extreme panic pricing has to be faded here. The 470s, the 465s, the 460s. All under for me, Donnie, because one good story or one breaking headline, and next thing you know, the market will crash and come down here.
The minute you see that Strait is open and a peace treaty is underway, even if it sounds bogus, those future prices will absolutely drop like a rock. And we always talk about these future prices, Joe, across the map. We're talking about gas today, but how many times do we tell you, right? You know, elections are coming up and midterms are coming up, and Trump is always making changes here. What's the latest news that you've heard, let's just say, in the last week? Tulsi Gabbard is out. We told you that multiple months ago. There will be changes to the cabinet. That's certainly one of those that takes place at this point.
Yep.
You don't have to be right. You just have to look and say, you know what? What probably is going to happen? What do we think is going to happen? And use that to your advantage in the marketplace, Joe. That's what we teach here on the show. It's what we love.
What it's all about, Donnie. We're not banking on outcomes. We're banking on repricing. That's what the prediction markets are all about.
Reprice it, people. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line. Wednesday's edition is done. We'll see you on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy, the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights. Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue that he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Now, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.